A spin through the bus stop. Nothing unusual here necessarily, but as the iRacing Israel League gets ready to take on the fastest and most historic speedway in of North America. Thrills and spills are certainly on the agenda, but what is definitely and without question going to be on the front of everybody's mind is fantastic racing, because folks, that's exactly what Watkins Glen provides. Hello everyone, and welcome to the iRacing Israel League, brought to you here live on OBS World. My name is DJ Clark, delighted to be bringing you along for the action today. It's going to be absolutely fantastic stuff as we watch the number 44 work their way around. Reem Gross, the dominant force, it could be said, from last time's action out not too long ago, as everyone now tries to get their way on through and sees what they are able to get done. The tricky part of the track here at this point, coming through the last couple of corners, this Watkins Glen circuit, such an absolutely fearsome one. Walls on either side through much of this course. That signature baby blue Armco, keeping drivers contained within the circuit's confines, but offering a perilous problem if you run into them. As it looks like Alone Day going to be the early pace setter here in qualifying. Not a whole lot of time to be able to put down. Only about 4 minutes left on the clock, but Day off to a good start here. Aviv Cohen going to lead the way in the GT4 category as well. It'll be the same format here that we had last time out, so two quick fire races coming at you to be able to determine some points battles here on the day, as now it looks like Kashvili is going to be able to bring his way up into second place with a time of 1:43.97. That's going to be a couple of tenths off of Alone Day up at the top. Kashvili doing a very, very good job to keep things together around this very heavy momentum-based circuit. So many fast, long corners here. Medium speed, really the name of the game. Only a few that are truly lower speed corners, so you've got to make sure that you are on it the entire way through. But as we continue to watch Alone Day right now, bringing his way down into the heel of the boot. That's right, we're running the full boot layout here, including the bus stop, so it's going to be plenty of speed and plenty of corners to be had for all of these drivers. Making his way now up through turn 9, arguably the trickiest corner on the track, as it rejoins what we call the NASCAR layout, that sort of shotgun layout that comes down through the outer loop and really flattens out coming through turn 9, making things a little bit more difficult to get the power down on correctly. But Day gets a good line coming through the final corner, going to try to keep his way ahead of Reem Gross here at this point, but it doesn't look like Day's going to improve on that last lap, and indeed he'll have to bring it to a halt. Your top 5 right now: Alone Day, Reem Gross, Shalva Kishvili, Yari Malkov, and Daniel Lerman up in your top 5 in the GT3 class. Down in GT4, it's Aviv Cohen, Gilead Heskia, Yudahod Ben Yosef, Ofer Mazuz, and Aiden Shear, your top 5. We watch the number 94 of Shalva Kashvili right now. Let's see if he's able to improve as he comes across the line. Able to improve, and there he goes, moving his way up in the order, only 29 thousandths of a second off of Alone Day. A great mark there for Kashvili. That, rest assured, is going to be an interesting run down into turn 1, the 90 here, Watkins Glen. As we take a look right now at the number 4 machine, Heskia trying to be able to bring a little bit of time and bring that 0.5 of a second gap to Aviv Cohen down to something a little bit more manageable here at this point. But look at Ben Yosef, only about 0.03 of a second off of Heskia, so very, very close running there through the rest of the field. But Glen going to try to see if he's going to be able to bring that number 4, get a little bit more speed here at this point, coming out of that final corner, full power down, coming under the flag stand, and it looks like that is not going to be an improvement there. He will stay in second place as things run. 50 seconds left on the clock. A few more drivers here able to put some times down, including Ben Yosef right now, as here he comes down through turn 10 into turn 11. Again, medium speed corners here, keeping that minimum corner speed up as much as possible. It looks like he lost some time there in sector 2. Is Ben Yosef going to be able to improve at all? It doesn't quite look like he's got enough to take the top, but he does have enough to jump over Heskia, and he will put himself up into P2 by only 8 33 thousandths of a second. A brilliant run there for him. Here comes the 23 of Aiden Sheard. A little bit of creative liberty there on that track limits around the outside, but it looks like he wasn't penalized for it. Sheard currently sits in 6th place. He'll be looking for a little bit of an improvement. Is Sheard going to be able to move up the standings at all? No, it doesn't look like it. It is the checkered flag flies. That will close out qualifying here at Watkins Glen International, as there are your qualifying results. Day leading the way over Kadishvili. And that'll lead us to the grid with Lone Day and Shalva up in the front, then Reem Gross and Yari Malkov in row 2. Moving back into row 3, it's Daniel Lerman and Amir Mashulum in that 777. That'll be an easy car to spot. Yuval Merrick finds himself in P7 alongside Nadav Yaron. Then it's Michael Sherling and Sion Baba in P10. We stay in the GT3 class with Arnon Levi in 11th and Mark Zubarev in that very brilliantly colored purple, white, and blue machine. Moving back into the GT4s, it's Aviv Cohen that led the way over Yuda Hodben Yosef in that 2nd place in GT4. Gilad Heskia is P3, then Yaron Levi in P4. And then it's off from Mazuz and Aiden Scher in the row behind them. So we continue to move down through the order. Omi Farag is going to be there as alongside. That's Asaf Yarom and Hage Ferron and Yossi Gabe round out the rest of the field, moving back into some drivers that did not set time down. And Gabriel Fuchs is going to be last on the field here at this point. But plenty of action to be able to be had around Watkins Glen. This is always a circuit that surprises. This is always a circuit that does incredibly well for racing action. The draft will be very, very crucial around this circuit. It's going to be very difficult to be able to hold on to a lead coming down into the inner loop. That's always going to be one of the most difficult places to try to hold the lead, courtesy of the power of the draft going down into that area. Whole field forms up here as the Porsche pace car takes off for a formation lap here at Watkins Glen up near Rochester, New York. A 20-minute feature race followed by another 20-minute race, and then that will have an 8th-place invert. So we're going to be keeping an eye on that 8th and 9th place position. Right now held by Michael Sherling and Nadav Yaron. We're going to have to keep an eye on that, as that will certainly be an area of interest to keep an eye on and make sure that they are able to get themselves forward. Drivers work their way onto the back straightaway right now. It's about 71 degrees Fahrenheit out on the track. Just about perfect racing conditions. 65 in the air, so maybe a little bit chilly, but surprisingly warm at this time of the year in upstate New York. There we take a look at it right now. It's 22 Celsius and 19 Fahrenheit, by the way. 65% humidity, so air is a little bit thicker up around here, but that's not going to be too much. Do keep an eye, though, that 7 miles an hour, 11 kilometers per hour of wind, that could have a little bit of play here for these drivers. That could be a little bit interesting, depending on how that wind is blowing. Could get a little bit of a tailwind coming down the front, coming down through the front straightaway if we get that headwind coming down on in. Let's take a look at the championship standings, though. It's a close battle between Reem Gross and Daniel Lerman up at the top. Very, very close running between them. Only a point separating the two of them, so it's not going to be all that much that they have to worry about. But only 2 rounds in. I say 2 rounds. It's 1 round, 2 races as they go. Getting an update right now that those standings may not have been correct necessarily, but no problem there with that. We take a look at this beautiful area. Folks, if you've never gotten the chance to go to Watkins Glen, I highly, highly recommend it. It is absolutely beautiful. Newly renovated, state-of-the-art facilities. Really, really fantastic racing circuit. And the people up there are absolutely spectacular. The whole city of Watkins Glen is really just kind of a quaint little cozy town. Kind of feels like an extended bed and breakfast around the entire area. It's really quite fantastic. So I highly, highly recommend, if you are able to be able to make your way up to upstate New York. Take a look at that. Drivers make their way down into the heel of the boot right now, turn 8. Now, don't be surprised if we see more than a few drivers running wide here on the exit. And the update that was put in about a year and a half ago on iRacing, that area to the outside has been deemed not part of an off-track limit. That is okay to run on there at that point. So drivers will take a little bit out there. Again, trying to carry that minimum corner speed all the way throughout as much as possible. But here comes Day and Kitishvili bringing down through turn 10 right now. A setup corner leading into the final corner on the track. Arguably one of the most important corners, though, is turn 1 to be able to set yourself up for the run down the long back straightaway and up through the S's. But right now, the S's are of secondary nature to everybody else as the Porsche pace car pulls down into pit lane and the green flag flies. We are racing here in Watkins, Glen. It is a brilliant getaway for Day. Reem Gross going to take a look down to the inside going into turn 1, but they're going to fan themselves out. The top 5 stay in single file order. It looks like a little farther down through the field, Jerome and Meshulam going to try to go side by side. Meanwhile, we've got a battle in the GT4 category as it looks like here. That's the 030 of Mark Subarev and Farron going to try to get themselves out there. Yehuda Ben Yosef going to be put under massive amounts of pressure as they try to sort themselves out and get their way ahead. Right now, that 030 looking like they're in a bunch hole. 3, almost 4 wide, coming down into the inner loop. How are they going to sort themselves out here, coming down into the corner? Big moves down to the inside. I'm amazed there hasn't been contact. A little bit of smoke being kicked up there as Yehuda Ben Yosef falling down through the order. Aiden Shear gaining a position. Your own Levi gaining a position as they move their way forward. We now take a look up at the front of the field here. This is our own Levi in 9th place. He's up 2 spots since the drop of the green flag, but he's got to worry about an attack coming from behind him here at this point. That's Farron trying to make a move around the outside, and Mark Subarev trying to get a little bit aggressive, trying to make a move around the outside here of the toe of the boot. They're going to now get themselves into 2 wide, coming down into the corner, trying to hold that up. A little bit of door banging, going down into the heel here at this point. The number 5 of Farron, and that's Tyson Baba trying to be able to take a little bit of a run here. Baba's going to have the preferred line down to the inside on Farron in the number 95. Baba's got the line. Is he going to be able to get the power down? Yes, he is. Brilliant move there by Tyson Baba to be able to claim that 9th place position. No real action up at the front of the field. They're all staying in single file order as they run. 5 there, though, of Farron taking a little bit of an unorthodox line coming down through the corner, trying to get his way out of things. That's Yossi Gabay trying to make a run in the background of Mark Subarev. Not trying, he is going to make that run down to the inside of Subarev. A couple of drivers running a little bit wide there, going down into the 90. That was Amir Meshulam in the red machine, that 777. That's Nadav Yaron ahead of Arnon Levi. That is going to be running a little bit wide. I think that's going to set him off. He's going to run a defensive line holding down to the inside of the inner loop. That's going to force Levi contact going down into the bus stop, and Levi tries to hold on to the car here at this point, but it's going to spin around on him. Lucky he doesn't make contact, but unlucky that he finds himself out into the outside barriers here at this point, trying to get everything back up underneath it. We check back in on the run at the top of the field. Lone Day carrying on a good gap here, but the battle is on for P2. Shalva Kitishvili and Reem Gross right now. Gross looking like he's got a little bit more power coming out of the heel of the boot, or the toe of the boot, rather. He's going to put some pressure here onto the back of Kitishvili. Takes a look down to the inside going into turn 7, but thinks better of it there. He's got to be a little bit careful. Yari Malkov not too far behind, and Daniel Lerman also closing in as well. This is a 4-way battle right now for the 2nd place position. So he's got to try to hold on here a little bit. Does Kitishvili. He doesn't want to try to get himself too wide through the majority of this running, and he is going to not only lose time to a Lone Day up in front of him, but he will also lose positions potentially behind. Looks like Reem Gross, though, starts to really put more pressure on the back of Kitishvili. Yari Malkov dealing with an attack from Daniel Lerman as they both sort of snake their way down the front straightaway and down into the 90 as the fastest lap of the race has now been set by Daniel Lerman, the 5th place driver, putting down a clear marker that he is not to be trifled with. Moves down to the inside. Here comes Reem Gross trying to go too wide through the S's. That's a move that is oftentimes not too wise, but he makes it work. Again, Kedishvili going to hold the inside line here at this point. Reem Gross looking around the outside. Is he going to be later on the binders to make it work? No! Kedishvili shuts the door and keeps it through the inner loop. Yari Malkov thinking about maybe trying to steal a podium position away from Reem Gross, but just a little bit too far back to get it to play. Meanwhile, the fastest man on the track, Daniel Lerman, holding in behind in 5th place, looking for an opportunity to be able to make that run. He found the opportunity as we see through the trees. Daniel Lerman trying to go for the move here at this point. Not able to get it done. Yari Malkov going to hold it off down into the toe. Banging doors coming into the toe of the boot. Daniel Lerman not taking no for an answer. He has the move done, but can Malkov fight back down into the heel? Here they go. Defensive line for Daniel Lerman. Malkov tries to pry open the door, but it's not going to play, and Lerman in the 32 machine will hold on to that advantage for the moment. Brave and courageous stuff there, it has to be said. For Lerman, and contact maybe, as that's Malkov spinning down through turn 9. That's the danger area that we talked about. Michael Scherling able to get through, but contact made, and Amir Meshulam going to be able to gain 2 positions as a result of that spin. My goodness gracious, all this action taking place over the course of just a few runs there at that point, and more chaos going down into turn 9. Let's take a look farther back in the field. This is the number 5 machine of Tyson Baba. Looks like Baba just kind of got a little bit chumped down there on, and that's going to send him far back through the field. I think that's going to be a tow down into pit lane. Baba opting not to go for it. Let's look back and give a little bit of love here to our GT4 category right now as the 422. Oh! Contact in behind. That's Baba again getting the car rolling and not having the best run of it there at that point. Let's look at what happened into the final corner here. Ooh, big stack up in front. I think that may have been Michael Scherling getting down onto the curbing going through the final corner. Oh no, there was contact. Excuse me. Contact in front, and unfortunately there, everybody else just along for the ride there. Yari Malkov having a terrible run to a couple of corners there at this point. But despite all of that, we do still have battles taking place on the track right now, including this, Shalva Kedishvili and Reem Gross. All that action took place behind the two of them. They're going to try to push their way forward here at this point. Alon Day looks like he is checked out at the front of the field, but Kedishvili and Reem Gross certainly in the battle here at this point. Coming up and over the crest of turn 9, little bit of oversteer there for Shalva Kedishvili. Lucky that he was able to hold on to the car. We look back down to the battle for GT4. Top honors of Yves Cohen, Jeroen Levi. Levi thinks about a move down to the inside of the toe, but he's not going to be able to make it play here at this point. Going to have to hold in line. The gap about 2-3 car lengths, call it, as they bring their way now. Down the back straightaway as Alon Day sets the fastest lap of the race. Late on the binders there for Levi. Indeed, he actually had to check his momentum up going down into the heel. That's how late on the binders he was. Wow, Arnon Levi really aggressive here, taking a look down to the inside of turn 9, poking and prodding on Yves Cohen, trying to find a break in that armor, trying to see if he's able to get his way forward, if at all possible. I think potentially he's feeling the pressure from behind from Glen Heskia, who runs in 3rd place, only a couple of tenths of a second off of this leading battle. So I think Levi's got a little bit of impetus to try to push his way forward as much as he can, get himself into a good position, and then have to maybe run away because he does not want Heskia to be a part of this battle. Here they come, down through the compression of the S's and back up and over the hill here at this point. They're going to keep themselves going along. I don't think Levi's going to be quite close enough to be able to get a full attack here, but I'll tell you what, if Yves Cohen certainly thinks he's going to be close enough, Levi thinks he might even have a little bit of a run. Pressured the outside going down into the bus stop, but is that going to help Levi on corner exit? Does it look like Yves Cohen may have compromised his line a little bit? Definitely compromised his line coming down through the outer loop, but officially welcome to the battle here to let Heskia. Heskia is right up involved in this fight right now. Looks down to the inside, coming down through the laces. not going to be able to get anything to play, and we've got a little bit of lap traffic to deal with here in the midst of all of this as well. That's going to be, I think, Michael Sherling working his way on through. Yes, indeed it is. That is Michael Sherling. He's rising his way in the number 200. Not going to present too much of a battle there for the rest of the field. That'll be good news for them, and we can focus back in on this fantastic GT4 battle. About half of this first race down here at this point. They bring their way up and through turn 9 right now. Cohen leading the way over Levi. Heskia holding in behind here at this point. Not quite close enough to be able to make the play into turn 10. They're going to try to get a little bit of a bobble there for Aviv Cohen. I think it's fair to say right now that he looks like he's running him a little bit ragged here at this point. I think Levi definitely applying pressure where pressure needed to be applied and trying to force a little bit of an error here out of Aviv Cohen. Really trying to see what he's able to get done. But now it's going to be Heskia that's going to be putting Levi under pressure as he gets a great run down through the 90. See if he's able to get anything. Run Levi, remember, your points leader here at this point in the GT4 category. He's looking to carry on that good form here, and this ostensibly could be a battle for championship position as Levi leads Heskia right now in those championship standings. Tries to roll the speed through the corner. Great run of corners there for your own Levi. That's really going to help him get some good speed around that portion of the track. Absolutely fantastic for him. And he's going to be able to buy himself a little bit of breathing room over Glen Heskia right now, but needs to try to claw back in on Aviv Cohen if he wants this win. Cohen's been able to stretch that gap up to about 0.6 of a second here at this point, and that is not the news that Uran Levi wants to hear. Keep pushing right now. They crest their way over the hill, down into that. We've got a little bit of a battle here and a little bit of a bump draft going on. Unless my eyes deceive me, that's Reem Gross and Shelva Kedishvili. Things starting to get a little bit anxious here up in the battle for P2 in the GT3 category. Reem Gross trying to put that pressure on. They've kind of dropped Daniel Lerman. Lerman sits about 6/7 of a second off of this battle. No immediate threat right now, but if these two go side by side, things will get very interesting. They are coming on a little bit of lap traffic here at this point. Gabriel Fuchs is going to be the first one that they come up against right now. And they're going to be about 1.6 seconds up the road there. You can see Fuchs in that green and blue GT4. Oh, there's a battle. That's Yaron and Ferran trying to be able to sort themselves out a little bit right now. This is the battle for 6th place. Yaron holds the advantage right now. Hagay Ferran trying to be able to see if he's able to take advantage of any little mistake here. But I think Nadav has been able to carry speed down in that red machine quite well. Look to the inside there for Ferran. He's not going to be able to get it to play, but he may be able to get it after a little bit of a wiggle there for Nadav Yaron, trying to see if he's able to close on in. Going to play out for the moment, and it looks like Hagay is going to have to hold on for the moment. That's Amir Meshulam holding on to 5th place right up in front of them, by the way. Draft coming into play down the front straightaway here at this point. As they tuck up in behind one another. No movement there for that 7th place machine of Ferran. Wide run there from Nadav Yaron. That's going to keep him out. We check back in on the battle for P2. Kedishvili trying to hold off Reem Gross. Gross in the first of those blue machines. Kedishvili down to the inside, going into the inner loop. Again, better braking for Kedishvili. He's able to hold the line, but Reem Gross trying to keep up the pressure. He's going to try to go around the outside. Welcome to the battle, Daniel Lerman. We've got a 3-way fight for the final podium positions. Lerman has to back off, going down through the outer loop. That's not going to play itself out. Reem Gross tries to look for a run down into the laces of the boot. That's not going to play itself out either. Kedishvili tries to be able to get his way forward right now. A little bit of lap traffic in front. That's Aiden Shear that they're going to have to deal with. Shear running the traditional racing line, being predictable. That's exactly what you want to see out of packed marker traffic, but it doesn't help either of them. It looks like here, though, that Reem Gross might have a little bit of a run down into the toe. No! I think that may have been some net cone as Kedishvili goes for a spin down through turn 8. that has to be the only reasonable explanation there, was it looked like that car suddenly pitched to the side, and I don't think there was any actual contact there. Maybe some predictive contact by the iRacing service, but my goodness gracious, Ketishvili going from hero to heartbreak here at this point. Let's take another look on board right now. This is going to be on board Reem Gross. He takes a look down to the inside. You know what? I don't think that was contact. Taking another look at that, I think Shelva Ketishvili may have just carried slightly too much speed down into the corner, and that may have caused that car to over-rotate ever so slightly. We'll have to see, though. Maybe the virtual racing stewards will have something to say about it, but right now that is music to the eyes of Daniel Lerman as he now brings his way up forward into third place. 5.5 minutes left to go in the session. And we focus back in on the battle right now. Ketishvili splitting Hage Ferron and Nadav Yaron right now. Yaron, though, looking like he's got a little bit of a run on Ketishvili. Going to take that look down to the inside of the outer loop. Not quite going to be able to carry the speed. Does he look for the crossover? Going down into the laces. That's exactly what he does. But once again, Ketishvili wise to the attacks of Nadav Yaron. He'll be able to hold off any rebuff here at this point. They work their way down into the toe. Lap traffic becoming more prevalent as they run. Let's see if they're able to get anything to go here at this point. Down the back straightaway, they run down into the corner. Nothing working there yet for Nadav Yaron. Tries to get into the head here of Shelva Ketishvili. That spin has got to affect the driver of the pink machine. He's got to be a little bit thrown here at this point, I would think. But it looks like Ketishvili's been able to gather it up, back up underneath him. 4 minutes left to go as they cross over the start-finish stripe here at Watkins Glen International. Moving down to the inside of lap traffic, that's Almiri Frog that they're able to get around. Almost contact there with Yaron. That got a little bit spicy as here comes Ketishvili side by side through the S's. That is a perilous position to put that machine in. Almost into the outside wall of Hage Ferron, and Ferron fights back here at this point. Ferron trying to be able to see what he is able to do. He's going to have to take the inside line. We've seen Ketishvili be late on the binders into the bus stop. He's late on the binders yet again. Move Ketishvili up into P5, but Hage Ferron not done with this yet. Contact! Messes up the braking zone, and for the second time in so many laps, yeah, that is Ketishvili going around, and there may be a little bit of damage there as well to Ferron, as it looks like that car was a little bit slow to get out of its blocks. Contact galore after what was a relatively clean race. Let's take another look at this. Riding on board Hage right now. Backs off on the binders, coming down out of the inner loop. Thought there was a gap and went for it. And Ferron, a little bit of a snap to the outside wall there as he tried to gather the car back up underneath him. Hopefully that's not going to cause too much damage on that machine, but thankfully he's probably only looking at about a lap, maybe a lap and a half left to go. Indeed, as your leader crosses over the start-finish line right now, Alone Day getting the signal from Barney the flagman. 2 laps to go at Watkins Glen International. And there is your leader here at this point and holder of the fastest lap of the race, Alone Day. Fastest lap of 1:43.847, a good lap by Day. He's going to try to keep that ahead as much as possible here at this point. Just keep pushing right now. He's got a 4.2 second gap over the rest of the field. That should be enough for him to be able to back off a little bit, but Alone Day may not want to do that. He may just want to keep pushing and try to keep himself up in the best position as possible. Farther back down in the field in that GT4 class, this is Aviv Cohen. Remember, we talked a little bit earlier about Cohen's battle that he was having with Yaron Levi. Well, it looks like that battle has subsided here for the moment. They're going to be able to keep themselves pushing ahead and not run into too many problems. Everything looking like it's settled down a little bit as they run. Not having too many problems here. Alone Day keeping up as much as possible. Coming down through the final couple of corners here at this point. As the white flag flies, white flag in the air for our drivers. And that is Alone Day taking the 1 lap to go mark. He's got a little bit of lap traffic to deal with here at this point. That was Aviv Cohen that he's trying to, excuse me, that's Michael Sherling? No, Aviv Cohen just worked his way by here at this point. Michael Sherling pretty far down the road. Gabriel Fuchs, the next driver he's going to have to deal with, but that's about 47 seconds down the road, so he's not going to have to deal with too much here at this point. Little bit of a battle taking itself out here. This is Kenishvili and Mark Zubarev. Zubarev trying to capitalize on what has been a very rough day for Kenishvili, but good news for Kenishvili. If he's able to hold on to this position from Zubarev, he will be on pole for the invert. He will be on pole for race number 2, and that could put Kenishvili into a great position to be able to bring his way forward and certainly put himself into position to have a great run in race number 2. But as usual, we're just going to have to see how that plays out. No real way of knowing what's going to happen there for that. As here comes your number 1 machine, Alone Day, bringing his way through the final couple of corners right now. Here he comes, up and over the crest of turn 9, bringing as much as he's got. He has been a dominant force here today, looking to carry on, and he will bring the car through turn number 11 here at this point, coming on to the main straightaway, and it is victory for Alone Day. A flash of the headlights. He has done exactly what he needed to do out here. The GT3 winner, Alone Day, can celebrate as coming back across the line right now is the number 34 of Aviv Coleman, 1 lap down, but on the top step of the GT4 rostrum, Aviv Cohen able to take victory here in the GT4 category. Farther back in the field, Reem Gross, Daniel Lerman round out your podium positions for GT3. As there you see them coming to a rest, coming across that start-finish line, the Rafa Media driver. As here comes the number 200 machine, Michael Sherling. Little bit of a disappointing day. He could have had a little bit more out there, I would have to think. But just wasn't quite able to close it all down as much as he wanted to. There comes Sherling across the line right now. He'll finish everything out, and he will be just about the last driver to cross over the stripe. It looks like we're still waiting on Gabriel Fuchs, who is your last driver officially, to cross over there. We see that green GT4 come across the line right now as the checkered flag flies for Fuchs, and we take a look at your official results. Day, Gross, Lerman, your top 3 there at that point. Kenishvili was able to hold on to that final transfer position. That is going to be huge for Kenishvili as he will start in pole position for race number 2. Mark Zubarev, Anon Levi, a little bit farther back down in the field here at this point. As we look down through the rest of the order. 12 laps completed at Watkins Glen International. Moving back down to the GT3 category, Sherling, Merrick, Baba had a rough day out there. Malkov, not the best of runs either. He'll be looking to have a little bit of a better run here in race number 2 if he can. Then in the GT4 class, it was Aviv Cohen holding on to that over Levi. Eskia, Ben Yosef, 4th place. Good run for him. Basuvs, Yaron, Farag, Shear, and Fuchs round out your 9-car field here at this point. As good news for you racing fans, you can see it on your screen. That is the iRacing Porsche pace car rolling off, and we are ready here for the race number 2 on the day. Another 20-minute race ready to roll here at this point around this historic speedway. It's going to be Kitishvili and Yossi Gabe up in the top position for your top class here as they run. Meanwhile, back down to the GT4s, it will be exactly as they finish, that invert not applying to anyone else outside of the top 8 here at this point. They work their way up through the S's. Got to say, we saw some pretty sketchy moves going up through the S's. We saw that side-by-side earlier in the race. That was a big question mark, and a little bit of contact taking place there as well. Very, very tough. Track conditions haven't really changed here. Still 66 degrees Fahrenheit in the air and 75 degrees Fahrenheit on the track, so just about perfect. Maybe be a little bit warmer for these hot, sticky Pirelli tires to get up to temperature, but nevertheless, still be good running for all of these drivers. They make their way through the inner loop right now. Get their way ready to be able to bring their way around for another 20 minutes of racing action around Watkins Glen International. Thank you for joining us here, folks, on OBS. We really appreciate you joining us for the iRacing Israel League. We'll be here every other Monday at this same time, and I should be able to be here with you for the majority of the season. Just going to be a question of if I'm hopping around and jet setting on an airplane or not, as I head off to a few other races around the U.S. But here, as we take a look right now, drivers make their way down into the toe of the boot. Yossi Gabe in that green number 17 machine. Yossi hoping for a good day out here today. Dave Cohen going to lead the way in that GT4 class. He had some pressure a little bit earlier on from a few drivers in the field. Is he going to be able to hold on to this yet again? Can Levi be able to put just enough pressure to his tailpipes to be able to cause a little bit of an upset? No way to tell until that green flag flies here at Watkins Glen. Is that pace car out of turn 9? Now down into turn 10. Drivers getting their way to make their way forward. Eyes getting ready to turn towards the flag stand as that Porsche pace car will soon dive off down into pit lane. Getting ready to bring the action here at Glen, as there goes the pace car down into pit lane, and there goes the green. We are racing here once more, and it is about as brilliant of a getaway as getaways can be for Shava Kitishvili, but it's going to be a three-way fight between Gabe, Yaron, and Meshulam as they go down into turn 1. It looks like Meshulam's going to have an advantage over Nadav Yaron as they try to get their way around. A little bit of a scraggly finish there, coming back through the field. Contact through the S's. Cars getting spun around here at this point. It's almost 5 wide, fanning out onto the grass as they try to sort themselves out. Absolute carnage at the top of the S's. I see Molkov, I see Zubarev involved in it. Aiden Shear, cars flipping up and over that baby blue Armco. Absolute calamity on lap 1 of race 2. Zubarev, Levi, Sherling, Shear, all involved in that opening incident. My goodness gracious. Kitishvili out clear into the front of this. Let's watch and see what happens. As you can see, there was a big checkup coming through that GT3 class. Cars flipping up and over here at this point. Zubarev, Levi, Sherling, Farag, Shear, all involved. Offer Mazus, I think, jumped on the binders and got his way out of the action. That's what was able to cause that. Oh. Just the domino effect, folks. That's what happens coming up through the S's if you are not careful. Oh, and there you see that final GT3 absolutely just steamroll his way on through, and a big kerfluffle there at that point. We watch once again Yeah, just everybody checking up, trying to get their way through it. I think that contact really developed there with Sherling. It looked like he was involved in it right off of the downbeat. Here's another look at it from a little bit farther back. This is that initial contact that we saw back down in the GT4 field that we initially called out. Yes, there we see the multiple drivers down into pit lane, but we're back to live racing action and a battle on for P2 right now. Gross, Yaron, Day, all three of them trying to sort themselves out right now. Alone Day going to be able to outbreak Nadav Yaron. That moves him up into third position overall. Meanwhile, Shadla Ketishvili up to a 2.2 second advantage on the rest of the field. Here they run. Working their way forward right now, down through the laces of the boot. We follow the number one machine of Alone Day as he tries to gain as much advantage as he can. Remember, he started all the way down in 8th position. Reem Gross starting down in 7th. So these two have brought their way forward right now as they run, doing a fantastic job to bring the action here and bring as much as they can. Looks like here Day starting to put some pressure to the back of Reem Gross and see if he's able to work his way on through. About 3 minutes down in this 20-minute feature race here as they run. There he goes, and you can see just how much Day is pushing here at this point. That exit off to the outside of turns 10 and 11, carrying as much momentum as possible, really pushing that car to the absolute limit. Meanwhile, a little bit of a battle farther back down in the GT4 class right now, as the 34 of Aviv Cohen has been able to hold off Yaron Levi, but Yaron looking like he's going to try to put a little bit of a run here at this point. Levi putting pressure right now to the back. And don't count out Yuda Ben Yosef, as both cars look like they make contact with that Armco around the outside. Excuse me, that's the safer barrier actually there around the outside right now. Ben Yosef, Levi, Cullen, 3, 2, 1 as they run in GT4. About a quarter of the way down in this race, trying to see if there's anything to play for here as they go. We take a look back at the front of the field of the GT3 category. Ketishvili about a 3-second gap over Alone Day, but Day was faster coming through Sector 1. Let's see here, should trip the timing mark, and again, about 67 thousandths of a second faster through Sector 2, so they are gaining here on Ketishvili, as proven by that gap only being down to about 1.8 seconds. So they are definitely gaining here at this point and pushing their way ahead. Here they go down into turn 10. Now through turn 11, we watch Alone Day again, just taking as much out of those corners as possible, pushing to the limit of this Watkins Glen circuit, coming up right next to that baby blue outside catch fencing and pushing as much as possible here at this point. Let's see what he's able to do. Top 3 separating away here. 14.5 minutes left to go on the clock. Ketishvili holding on to the lead here as they go, expanding that gap once again. I think Ketishvili is best through Sector 1 here, as he is able to grow the gap over Reem Gross back up to about 2 seconds. Meanwhile, Alone Day starting to close in a little bit more. That gap coming down to about 0.8 of a second here as they go. So certainly looking like that's getting a little bit closer for Alone Day. We take a look back at we take a look back down to the GT4 field as we're side by side, Cohen to the outside, Levi to the inside, coming up through the S's. We saw side by side through the S's come to calamity on the first lap of this race, but your two leaders in the GT4 class are going to keep it together here at this point, but they're going to have to go 3 wide as they've got it's Malkov making their way around. Levi's going to have the advantage over Aviv Cohen going down into the bus stop, and he's got it done. Brilliant move there for Yaron Levi. He's going to be able to hold on to that position here at this point. they go, carrying it out and around, but Cohen not waiting for an opportunity. He's going to look left, look right, try to be able to get anything to play. He's going to try to send it around the outside here with the toe of the boot. Let's see if he's got anything to play for here. And he's got to run. He's got to run. He's going to try to look for it here, going down into the heel. Levi's going to break later, though, almost a little bit of contact. Could that open up the door here for Hoda Ben Yosef? Yes, it does. Hoda Ben Yosef gets the position away from Aviv Cohen. Great heads up there from the blue, number 10. But look at this. Aviv Cohen not taking no for an answer. Going to try to fight back on it here at this point. That's not going to quite play. Going to be side by side again coming out of the final corner. Advantage here is going to go to Cohen, but Ben Yosef going to be on the preferred line down to the inside. If he can outbreak him, he should be able to keep this, but it looks like there Cohen's going to shut the door, sweeping around the outside of the 90. But here's the flip of this, folks. Aviv Cohen's going to get the benefit of that big draft coming up through the S's here at this point. Is he going to be able to hold out to it here? Aviv Cohen pushing ahead. He's also going to get a little bit of help from the draft of Yaron Levi up in front of him. Ben Yosef pokes his nose to the inside. Shuts the door, though, does Aviv Cohen. And he'll hold on to that P2 and GT4 for the time being. All right, here as they go, Londe up in the lead of this field. Got a little bit of lap traffic he's going to have to navigate on by. Excuse me, he's not in the lead. He's in P2. What am I saying? P3, actually. He's trying to close down Henri and Gross. They continue to get that gap a little bit closer up to Shalva Kedishvili up in front of him. But Kedishvili, every time that gap seems to expand, he responds. Every time it shrinks, he responds. He expands it. That's the gap there between Reen Gross and Alone Day, second and third out on the track at the moment. They're going to try to pull their way up forward, see if there's anything to run with. Bring momentum out, all within shot there. That's also Nadav Yaron in that white and blue machine that you see there behind. So he's not too far back from this battle either. Meanwhile, the battle for P1 up in that GT4 category is on. Yaron Levi, Aviv Cohen. Cohen, after disposing of Ben Yosef and the attack that was there, he wants another bite at the apple to try to be able to claim back in that top-placed position. He's going to take a little bit of a look in that multicolored Rafa Media machine. Not going to be able to get it to play. He tries to get a little bit more momentum through the inner loop, but all that really did is lose time and allow for Hoda Ben Yosef to be able to close on in a little bit more. Hoda Ben Yosef going to carry as much speed as possible right now. Down into the laces of the boot they go. Let's see what he's able to do here at this point. A little bit of dirt kicked up on the inside, a little bit of dirt kicked up on the outside. Yaron Levi looking like he's maybe under a little bit of pressure here at this point. Aviv Cohen down to the inside. He's not going to be able to get the run. Defensive line for Levi going down the straightaway, going into the toe of the boot. Nothing doing, though, as both drivers carry plenty of momentum here at this point. A little bit of a squiggle there for Yaron Levi. Coming out of turn 9, it looks like he was able to hold on to the car and not lose too much time as a result of it. 8.5 minutes left to go for your leaders, indeed for the entire field here. Wide run again for Levi, but he holds it together as Barney the Flagman watches on here at this point. Move to the inside there for Aviv Cohen, or at least a threaten of a one down into the 90. Levi not really threatened by it too much, though, as here they go, climbing up through the S's. Cohen trying to find a little bit of speed, trying to find a little bit of push here as he runs. Let's see if he's got anything. He's certainly got the draft to be able to make this play. Levi moves down to the inside on the defensive line, but we've seen that outside line work more than once. It's not going to work this time. Yarin Levi holds on to the position here with 7.5 minutes left on the clock. A good move from the number 303, as this battle is now three ways. It is a three-way fight up the front of this GT4 category. Let's see how they all play themselves out here at this point. No movement there at this point. Hold themselves together. Good pressure, though, from Aviv Cohen. He is keeping this battle alive by force of will alone, it would seem. Yehuda Ben Yosef not really involved in this. It looks like he's just holding back here at the moment, waiting for his opportunity to strike. Could this be a better run here for Cohen? He certainly carried more speed coming up through turn 9, but it didn't look like he was quite able to carry it where he needed to. He's now going to move to what will be the outside, now the inside of turn 11. That's not going to play itself out either, and now they're going to stay in single file order, coming back onto the main straightaway with 6.5 minutes left to go. Oh, here comes a move. Cohen down to the inside, muscling his way forward on the 303. There may have been contact door to door there, but I think it's safe to say Cohen got the move. Now the question's going to be is if Ben Yosef can make anything play here at this point. They're going to be side by side. Levi muscles his way back into position, gets a big helping of the draft here off of Aviv Cohen. Can he carry the momentum going down into the inner loop? They're going to be side by side as Levi pops out of the draft. We saw him make this line work last time. Can he do it around the outside? No, he's got to back off, and Cohen's going to be able to hold on to it for the time being. Jumping on the brakes, going down into the outer loop here at this point. They try to carry as much as they can and carry as much speed as they can. Look down to the inside there for Levi, but shutting the door is Aviv Cohen. This battle again for the top step of the GT4 podium with about 5 minutes left on the clock here as they run. All right, it looks like Levi's a little bit farther back, but takes a peek down to the inside going into turn 9. Not able to get it work. Here we go. 4.5 minutes left to go. Your leaders working their way down through the last couple of corners right now. Here we go, side by side. Levi got the run. He's got the position over Cohen. Able to make it play, but Cohen going to fight back, coming down through the 90. They'll be side by side, potentially coming up through the S's. Not potentially, they are going to be side by side, coming up through the S's here at this point. Who is going to sort themselves out in order? Cohen's got the advantage right now. Levi getting the benefit of the draft. Yehuda Ben Yosef tries to hold on behind as much as possible. Maybe he's going to get the run here with the double draft. He looks to the outside, covering him off. Here's the 34 of Cohen. That's going to be no move for Yehuda Ben Yosef, and there going to hold it down right now. Yehuda Ben Yosef, a little bit of an inside move there for Levi, kicking up some grass as he made his way on through. Could this open the door up for Yehuda Ben Yosef? We will have to wait and see. Here as they come down into the laces of the boot, looking down to the inside, kicking up grass yet again. Yehuda Ben Yosef trying to find that opportunity. Meanwhile, at the front of the field, hello, Reem Gross. Hello, Shalva Kedishvili. The lead in GT3 is closed down to 0.5 of a second. Gross trying to close on in. Look at that. That had to have been a mistake there on lap 8 for Shalva-Ketishvili, losing about a full second's worth of time there at this point. Trying to be able to get as much as he can, though. Ketishvili, after what was a disastrous race number 1, trying to be able to close it back down. He's going to be closing in on the leaders of this GT4 battle as well. How is that going to shake itself out as they come down through the final corners? 2 minutes, 40 seconds left on the clock. This will be 2 laps to go. 2 laps to go for your leaders as they come out of the final corner, moving their way down to the inside. That's Ketishvili able to make the run. Can Gross do the same before they get down into the 90? It's going to be a little bit of a pinch point, but Gross gets it done. Slicing and dicing their way through traffic. Jeroen Levi looks like he's got a little bit of a good run there, but I think Gross, Alone Day getting massively slowed down there through the running. That may put him out of position to be able to fight for this top step. Meanwhile, the battle for GT4 in P2 looks like that's where the action is. Jeroen Levi and Ben Yosef. Nope, they have closed back down on Aviv Cohen. That is still a 3-way battle here at this point. Big smoke in front. That's Ketishvili! That's Ketishvili! Ketishvili is spun. Your leader is spun, coming down into the laces of the boot, giving control of the race over to Reem Gross. Let's take a look. This was just an unforced error, maybe a little bit too early on the throttle, maybe a little bit too much speed coming through the corner, but one way or another, the damage is done on the number 94. Oh my goodness gracious, Reem Gross now in control of this race. Ketishvili will have to settle for 3rd place. This is Ketishvili we watch right now. He's got to make his way through the battling GT4s once again now as a result of that spin. Ben Yosef kind of getting out of the way there for him. Should be able to overtake at least Levi, maybe Cohen, going down this main straightaway, as there you saw it, the white flag flying from Barney the flagman. Wide run for Levi, trying to carry as much momentum as possible. Ketishvili on through here at this point. Reem Gross comfortably in the lead of this race, 3.2 seconds. This is the battle to watch right now. This is for the lead in GT4. It looks like Ben Yosef is falling off the back of the pack as GT3s try to circulate their way on through. Slicing and dicing right now. There they go. Down to the final couple of corners here. Through the inner loop, Aviv Cohen holding on to that advantage over Jeroen Levi. Trying to see if there's anything to play for here, but that is of no concern to Reem Gross, who for the final time will pilot the number 44 down through the toe of the boot and back over the crest of the hill here at this point. 4 more corners to go for Reem Gross. Up 6 positions on the day. A fantastic drive, putting the pressure to the back of Shalva-Ketishvili, just absolutely applying that pressure when it was needed, moving his way ahead, taking advantage of others' misfortune and not putting a toe wrong himself. Reem Gross has 1 corner to go between himself and victory here at Watkins Glen International. Coming out of the final corner, a sweep across the start-finish line. Your victor here in GT3 is Reem Gross. Alonde will cross over in P2. Shalva-Ketishvili, we still wait about 6 seconds behind. He will be P3, and Aviv Cohen, who was under fire for most of the day, will hold on and claim victory in the GT4 category. A commanding drive for the Rafa Media driver. Levi will finish second in that GT4 class. Huda Ben Yosef will be in P12 or P3. Fantastic running there A little bit of a scruffy race, it has to be said, across this entire field. Sometimes everybody getting just a little bit out of whack, but a great battle there. Shalva is going to be kicking himself as it looked like victory was assured in that number 94 machine, just not able to seal the deal, and he finish in P3. Nadav Yaron, Hege Farron rounding out your top 5. Merrick Lehrman falling back down through the order. He started a little bit farther down in the order, started in 6th, just not able to show that speed that we really saw him have in race number 1. Then it was Yari Malkov, Yossi Gavay, and Arnon Levi who round out your GT3s on the lead lap. Baba, Meshulam, Zubarev, Sherling, all victims of that opening lap debacle. In the GT4 class, it was Aviv Cohen over Levi and Ben Yosef, a very, very close battle between those three, and they really left Galet Heskia in the dust there at that point. Same with Fuchs, Yaron, Mazuz, Shear, and Farag, both also victims of that opening lap debacle as well. This should be your updated GT3 standings here at this point, as Reem Gross with that victory will catapult himself up into the lead here over Daniel Lerman. Again, that second race just not to Lerman's ability. Alon Day, Nadav Yaron, Kedishvili, and Merrick in a very close battle there, though, for P3, it has to be said. Also tied there, Michael Sherling and Hagev Farron, as it looks like Yossi Gabe holding on to 7 points. In GT4, it's still Levi, Heskia there, even though only finishing in 4th today in that second race. We'll hold on to P2. Then Hod Ben Yosef, Cohen, and Mazuz. Working our way down through the order there. Yaron and Fuchs still trying to gain some valuable points to get their way back up forward in the order here as they run. Well, folks, that's sadly going to be the end of the racing action here today from Watkins Glen International. But join us in 2 weeks' time at the same time as we head to another sheer temple of speed in the form of Monza. It doesn't get a whole lot better than GT3s and GT4s headed out onto that historic Italian circuit. But until then, and on behalf of all of us here on the OBS team, it's been a pleasure to bring you the racing action. And until we see you on the track, thanks for watching.